Hi, welcome to another VPO Connect webinar. Whether you have an existing website that needs an uplift or are building a new site from scratch, I think you'll find today's webinar useful. My name is Catherine from VPO Connect. I work in digital marketing and have worked on user experience and search engine optimization of websites. So today I'll be your presenter. And here's what we'll look to cover. First, I'll give you a bit of background and go over why website content and user experience is so important for your business. Then I'll go through a couple of content platforms you can use as a non-developer, and I'll also share some ideas of how to creatively engage your audience online and give you a breakdown of things you can improve now. So, if you don't have a website or you're missing out on a gold mine, websites are valuable not just as a sales vehicle for prospects, but also for current clients and customers, building your company's reputation, and a host of other reasons. But for most businesses, websites are important for three key reasons. It's how your prospects find your business. Your website can nurture leads and drive sales conversions online, just getting the prospect to take the next step. And finally, the analytics behind websites provides useful data into how your audience interacts with your brand, what they click on, and so forth, so you can better improve your marketing. So what's your website's purpose? Of course, there are different kinds of websites. So if you haven't figured this out, you should have some idea of what you're trying to accomplish with a web presence. So e-commerce sites are where customers can purchase a product or service online and requires the biggest development and marketing budget. However, e-commerce sites produces direct revenue and sales leads. So this is a common B2C website model. If clients are not directly buying from you online, you can still capture leads in a lead generation site. It requires you to invest in a CRM platform or monitor Google Analytics and web forms to produce quality, traceable sale leads that can be converted. This is a common website for a lot of B2B companies and what I'll primarily be focusing on today. Finally, a credentials website is the simplest and least expensive option for those who know your brand and just need some verification. For instance, a well-known law firm with a steady stream of work might use this type of website to make a solid impression on the most important potential clients, or an art gallery that wants to market art regionally. So what do we mean by optimize? Are we talking about search engine optimization, speed optimization, or user experience? Well, today we're going to be focusing on the last. Yes, we want to enhance the user experience. And an important part about the user experience is optimizing content. So I'd like to just show you an example now. Perhaps this sounds familiar. As one of the leading companies in the nation, Company is your best choice as a partner because we understand your business. We offer you the convenience and efficiency of our centralized services, providing one-stop shopping to meet all your needs, blah, 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 blah. This is pretty vague copy, no? I see this all the time on accounting websites that simply refer to their services as business services and talk about the quality and values without explicitly saying what they do, who they help, and what makes them better than the next guy. So the problems I see with this content is, what do you do? It's not entirely clear. Who are your clients? I want to see them and relate to them, maybe see pictures of them on your website. I want to feel like I belong to you or connect with your brand. And how do you stand out from the crowd? What is your unique selling point, something that differentiates you? So the result? This is boring, and I'm not interested in this type of content. So I'd like to contrast this with another example, something also along these lines. I pulled this off of the MailChimp website. For more than 7 million people and businesses around the world use MailChimp. Our features and integrations allow you to send marketing emails, automated messages, and targeted campaigns. And our detailed reports help you keep improving over time. And they go on to explain not just what they do, but who their clients are. This tells me what I want to know. So this copywriting may not be the most exciting on the web, but it certainly meets its purpose. But to achieve this, we need to know a bit more about our target audience, and there's a few exercises we can do. So who makes up your target audience? You look at buyer or user personas. So to identify this, maybe your target audience has evolved over time, maybe you have a better idea. Start by writing everything down. Write down what you know about each type of ideal customer. course, there will be maybe perhaps different kinds of customers, your premium customers versus your normal customers, different pricing plans that you're on. Segment them then by demographics and identify their various needs. What information are they looking for, and what problems do they need solved? The more information you have around this and the easier you can segment it, the better. So now let's see if you address these personas online. Here's a quick check. This is a good example of audience segmentation. Here, HubSpot has given website visitors two options, one for business owners and one for marketers, complete with two different calls to actions based on their audience needs, which is very different for each persona. While you may not do something like this on your website, the point is, if you can identify the different types of personalities you cater to, the premium clients versus the normal clients, as I mentioned, you know you need to treat them differently. Also, you'll have visitors coming to your site at different stages of your sales cycle, and it's good to check that you have appropriate resources from someone who needs more basic information about what you do to the prospect that wants to check terms and conditions before doing business with you. So to optimize your content, your site should answer what the user is looking for, what the user needs to know, and you should try and find a way that you can pique that user interest through content, through graphics, but perhaps offering something free in return. So go back to your buyer personas or personalities. You might consider offering visitors content, and I'll give you a few ideas in a moment. But to get them to interact with you, you'll need a strong CTA. And a CTA stands for Call to Action. So this is a common acronym we use in web development and digital marketing. It's an instruction to the audience to provoke an immediate response, usually using an action verb such as call now, find out more, or visit a store today. So your primary CTA should be obvious to the visitor as to what you want from them. So here's a few good examples, such as the sign up on Pinterest, the start a meeting or schedule a meeting on GoToMeeting, sign up for user or become a driver as a secondary one on Uber, sign up or sign in on Dropbox. Okay, so you're doing a new website. Do you have the domain name, web hosting, and content? Content is king. So how you manage it is equally important. So let's go over the content management systems for non-developers. Content management system, or CMS, is the back end of your website that allows you to publish, edit, and modify your website's content. There are web design platforms out there that are very easy for non-developers to use to edit. The homepage or a blog article. You don't have to know code. You just need to choose a platform with a what you see is what you get layout. So now I'd like to draw attention to WordPress. It's the most popular CMS out there, and for good reason. It's easy to preview pages and edit content without knowing code. While it may not be the easiest to use if you have absolutely no technical knowledge whatsoever, it is pretty easy to learn to navigate and preview edits. So here are just some of the highlights I've pointed out. Not only is it most popular out there, it's open source and free to use. Thousands of plugins available, and the vast majority of these are free. Because it's the most popular, it has so many plugins out there. And it has those what you see is what you get features and a lot of preview tools. So it's pretty easy to learn for beginners. Concrete 5. If you haven't heard of this one, in my opinion, Concrete 5 is a bit easier to use than WordPress, and it's easier to move things around on a page and see images and text and boxes. So it's got intuitive page editing. It's open source. Now, it's strictly curated add-on marketplace, but it is simple yet flexible with the what you see is what you get design tools. And you can pick up and use this, I believe, a bit easier than you would WordPress. So Light CMS seems to mimic WordPress's design a bit, with easy navigation on the left-hand side. What's cool about Light CMS is that you can edit content on the page if you're logged in. So you don't necessarily need to see it from the back end, just so to speak. We've got stock website design that are easy for mobile as well. Of course, it's got the what you see is what you get design editor. And again, editing directly on the page is pretty easy so long as you are logged in. Okay, finally, I just want to mention Percussion. Percussion is good with a drag and drop option. It's not as easy as some of the other CMSs out there, but it's still easy. And what I like about Percussion is that it's got SEO as an option. So it works that into the back end of the website and kind of helps you out. All the other ones I mentioned also do that to some extent, but I think Percussion does that a little bit easier for you. So now I'm just going to mention a bit more about optimizing content when we talk about search engine optimization. So all the CMS systems I said can help with SEO, and search engine optimization is about improving your organic rankings and search results. So when someone searches for relevant keywords, your business appears. So even if you don't know much about SEO, if you don't know anything at all, I would recommend finding a good expert. However, even if you're not technical, you can work on SEO by providing quality, ongoing content. For example, through a blog or by targeting relevant keywords in your website content. So it's just something else to keep in mind as you go through your website content and kind of double check these things that you can improve. So some other ways to engage your audience when we talk about content. Anything that's interactive, so videos, are very powerful on your website. But you can also look at things like blogs, frequently asked questions page, perhaps providing something free for people to sign up. You can capture data through e-newsletter or industry news, a brochure or a flyer, or perhaps an online chat. So a few additional tips before we go. If you only have time to focus on a few pages, here's what I'd recommend. The most popular pages of your website, which is typically the home page, About Us page, your blog, if you have one, and the Contact Us page. So the home page. The home page is so important, whether you have a normal page or a one-page website, because this is where you make the most impact on your website to really grab their attention. The bounce rate for an average website is somewhere between 45 to 55%. That's roughly half of your website visitors immediately leaving after seeing the homepage. So this is kind of the opportunity, the door to your website as to whether or not they'll stay. While that's not necessarily a bad thing if half of them are leaving if they are not your target audience, you want to entice your target audience to stick around for more than just a couple of seconds. So the homepage is essentially a welcome page for your brand, and its purpose is to get your visitors to take action and to check out more. So here's a quick checklist of things you should make sure you've included. Have you explained a problem that you're going to solve? Have you given proof that you're the best thing, that your business has that unique selling point and separates you from your competitors? How do you engage your audience and give them something that they want in return? Do you drive action with a strong call to action? Remember that CTA? Okay, the About Us page is a chance to make your business relatable with pictures of real people, your credentials. That's also a perfect opportunity for a sales pitch if it's genuine and not contrived. So you can frame the conversation you have with your audience in the About Us page. So as far as content, think of the information you want to know when you visit another company's About Us page, and do you answer these questions? Remember my MailChimp example earlier. Content should not be vague. Be specific about your company and why you stand out. Just make sure to be down to earth. Don't put yourself on that high horse. No one likes that. All right, the blog. So search engines love fresh content. What better way to provide frequent content than with blog posts? No matter how small your business is, you can build trust and clout within your industry by providing valuable expert information in blog posts. Over time, you might become a go-to resource, and this is especially important for small businesses looking to gain credibility to compete with larger companies. Every time you blog, you can create an opportunity for your audience to share your blog with others. All right, so if you have a blog, and these are the reasons I just mentioned. Contact Us page. For your Contact Us page, are you approachable? A few words to show you're friendly will go a long way. So is it clear what communication channels are best to get in touch with if your visitors have a quick question versus if your visitor wants your business? So it's a good page to drive some relevant credentials to add those such as your ABN, professional license, opening hours, and directions. So see if you can go the extra mile for your visitors. So you may be wondering, how does all this content tie in with what we do? At VPO Connect, we know back office accounting functions and stay on top of the latest tech applications, software, and web tools so our clients don't have to. We do the bookkeeping, payroll, end-to-end financial reporting, and SMSF administration to help accountants and their business clients focus on running and growing their business so that they have time to dedicate to sales and marketing, among other functions. So if you want to find out more, you can start, and here's my good call to action as an example, you can start by visiting our website, vpoconnect.com.au. So now the next webinar we have coming up is just for accountants. The accounting industry is rapidly evolving. With compliance costs ever increasing, smaller accounting practices are faced with the ultimate dilemma, to outsource or not to outsource. So in the next webinar, I'll be discussing our knowledge of both the end-to-end process from our experience working with accounting practices, both big and small, and let you decide. So we'll cover the pros and cons of outsourcing, what the process entails, and if it's right for you, a checklist of questions to answer as you consider. All right, well, I hope you found today's webinar useful. Hope to see you next time. Thank you.